get started?
Certainly, yes.
It was quite a turnout tonight. It's always good to see. Thanks for coming, Pete.
I think you should get an award at the end of the year for the most committed citizen.
Yeah, for sure.
We won't say whose position you took over.
Who was that?
Don, right?
Yep, Don Hellenbach.
Yeah, we used to fight for this chair right here.
Oh, really?
Towards the end, I was beating him pretty good, but he wasn't able to make it as much.
He was very helpful. He rode his bike for it until he couldn't. But he would tell me which street lights were out, where there were washouts. It was actually quite helpful.
Well, Heather took your job last year while she was taking a little break, and then now you're back at it.
All right. So this is Pittsfield Finance Committee meeting, Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. We will skip the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence and just get into it. So pretty much I wanted to go over where we were coming up with funds for the advertisement, recruitment, and any other needs that the hiring committee for the new town manager was going to request. I think the dollar amount that's been thrown around was roughly $10,000. It could be either side of that, hopefully less, but I think that's if we can find out where to
I think you're
come up with that money, or where it's coming from.
I think you'd be safe with that, but as I noted, I haven't reconciled the month because it takes 124 hours, and I'm working on all the grant requirements, which are all due right now, moved up, some of which. But I think you'll be safe for $10,000 easily. I spoke with you a couple of times about budgets that we're not, we don't have the staff in. The economic community development is one. We got the money there for the grant person, but we also have another line for the remote support. So I haven't touched that, knowing you need some money. And recycling, we talked about. Donnie's been unable to keep somebody there, and they quit as soon as they come. He's only sixth person since this all started, or maybe seventh now. So that, and the pay was increased, so there'll be some money there. Even if he has to pay a lot more, there'd be health insurance in that account. There'd be some health insurance, not much because I only put half a year in the economic community development. And in the library, they won't have a library director for a while, but they have substitutes, which are a lot of substitutes. So there'll still be the health insurance issue. So between these three accounts, you should do well. If you have enough money, we do a transfer. Now, we do have some accounts that are already starting to trend poorly. Streetlights just got totally out of control and just jumped up amazingly. We can't put it into the purchasing co-op because it doesn't allow streetlights. It allows a lot of our other accounts, so they haven't jumped up. So we have that one. General assistance is going to go over. That's been totally crazy. I've never seen anything like that, and don't want to again, but people are now starting to come in that normally don't, and then we've got all the homeless issues that are going on. And I looked at that. I think those two are the worst ones. The cemetery, I think, because he's starting so early, will have an issue which I'll have to address.
Well, so if we stay focused on, so I mean, I guess the big cut. So let's say we get a new town manager in July, whatever. If you look at the 2023 budget under account 0145, you have 37.
That's where the grant writer is.
That's the 37,500 for the grant writer, but you also have the 22,000 for the virtual assistant.
Yeah, we just won't do that.
So if we don't have those two positions wrong, So that's
59.
59.5.
Yep.
Yeah,
That would cut. So that we're basically covering the new town manager for say 6 months,
We have 6 months of salary sitting there. Yep.
and that's probably best case.
yeah.
It would be about 6 months salary, because your salary is obviously your salary. But just that alone would cover that position for this year,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do trades between the other accounts. Assessing is gonna be over because we're doing 1 year or less. So I just need to track all those. And as I discussed via email with Jason and the mayor, it takes 124 hours to reconcile everything. I have to concentrate on all these grants and keeping a really good status in the audit on the grants because it's huge. And they're calling back some that we haven't spent a lot of money on, so we got to quickly move ahead here to spend it. And that's just something new that just happened. And then we've got all the reports on all the other grants, and then the reports on closed ones that you have to report on afterwards. And with the audit, once I get down to the 4th week in May, I should be able to reconcile everything. I've isolated the issue that was in Trio, which they gave me a fix for. And as you know, the fixes work for a while and then they don't, basically. But if I understand what goes on and put only that in there, then I can watch it and then keep 2023 clear, not damaged, whereas 2022 is somewhat damaged here. In some things, the budget's pretty good and the revenues are pretty good, but it did do some damage when we did the data conversion there. But that will all get straightened out. The auditor's going to give me some entries because I've got like books of things for backup that he can look at. So I just want to keep 2023 pristine.
Yep.
But when I bring things forward from 2022, things happen. I just have to monitor it and go slow. But this should be over with at the end of the month. And then it should be fine.
Okay.
Then I'll be back on track here. With the town clerk out, I've also acquired a lot of additional work.
So we're not positive where the 10,000 for recruitments specifically coming from.
As I noted, economic development, recycling, library.
Yeah, but so we just earmarked basically economic development's going to be chewed up in
It's going to get chewed up.
the person's
On
salary,
other
in the
things.
person's salary.
Yes.
If we were lucky enough to hire somebody.
Yeah, we also,
this year.
we've spent quite a bit in the contractual because everything is due, and there's some projects that we need to work on. So, and first part has to be paid, so we really got to concentrate in the salary and health insurance part. But yeah, you would have 50,000 or 60,000 available at the end of the year. We usually would have under 50,000 before COVID left from all of the salaries. There would be something that wasn't done in the salaries, health insurance, something would happen.
Right.
And then it became more when we ran into COVID and not being able to hire people.
Right, so right now, like code enforcement,
Right.
we only have part-time 2 days.
Yeah, that's one too. But
Before we had part-time 3 days.
Yeah.
Now, and we've budgeted for full-time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of why I wanted to see, payroll statements so I could see like what we actually are paying out to the budget. I mean, I know that's expense and revenue, I guess, when you do your reconciliation at the end of the month.
Well,
We would see that.
Well, we went over the payroll records and how we went through the whole payroll program and didn't find anything that would leave out the benefits because we can't have anything issued that has the people's benefits on it. We're still working on that. We did get a report that I'm going through. I see it's incorrect, but we did get one at the end of the day after you left. But it's incorrect at the beginning, so we got to delve into that a little bit more. There has to be a way to run out just departments and to list the salaries in the department without the benefits. I know there has to
Right. So I want to we want to specifically know where the money is coming from to do these things. So that, say at the end of the year, oh, we need 10,000 for this or 5,000 for that. We know where that excess is still at.
Yeah, we're gonna charge it to the accounts we're supposed to, and we'll have to do transfers. Because we gotta charge,
Right.
if we have
Yes.
advertising, we're gonna charge it to advertising, which we will do, and then we may need transfers. The salary's easier, you would just stick it in the economic community development.
So at the end of the year, because basically what you're saying is we won't know exactly what pool of money it's going to come out of until the year clears, and then we know where we
I've
settle.
identified 3 budgets, and code officer, you may have to pay like an outrageous rate to get one, but we've got to have one.
Well,
This 2-day thing is I'm like the code officer in between here, and this is getting to be, I can't do certain things at all.
right. I mean, we'll, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, we certainly don't want to just hire somebody for the sake of hiring somebody because we've
Right.
seen how that
We
works
know
out.
how that works. Finally, I gave
So-
in to their request to hire somebody, and that was horrible.
So the 3 that you've identified are the code officer, or the other 2?
No, I just did that.
Recycling code officer, I did identify it for
Oh, you
health
did, okay.
health
Yeah.
insurance. Code officer, economic community development, recycling, and library. Library would be the 4th,
Okay.
unless. I suspect all of those will be left at the end of the year. But to certify this, I'm gonna have to go through and do the total reconciliations. And as I told the mayor and Councilor Hall, I need to get all this grant work done first, and then I've got 124 hours it will take to go through all this and reconcile everything, and then I'll be able to, concretely tell you. After I meet with the departments, there are some departments that are spending like crazy, so
I see that.
Do you have
See that.
do you have the dollar amount that we still have available from the ARPA money? I think in a previous meeting you had stated that we had 78,000, but I don't know if that's
you did, but the bill finally came in for the work at the sewer treatment plant that came from the sewer account.
Right.
It was around that, yes.
78,000.
Yeah, it's somewhat designated, but somewhat not. All of the vests, not all of the police needed vests and carriers, but one needed a very expensive one. So,
Yeah, if we can get like a breakdown of,
yeah, I
of
have
the
that.
ARPA.
I have that upstairs.
Yeah.
I have to certify that for
and
the
then what's
auditor. Yeah.
remaining, so we know what we're playing with, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, I have that upstairs. I just have to go through and certify everything for the auditor.
And then the past the past years where we had these vacant positions,
Mhm.
there should be a decent amount of money from those positions that weren't hired.
The money went to surplus. We had a very low surplus going into COVID. Now it's where the auditor wanted it.
Right,
And
which
we're
is
very
what
healthy.
he kind of told us last.
Yeah. Not done
June,
on
I
purpose,
guess.
but ended up that way. Yeah. I think this year, with the exception of those departments, everybody's going to be spent out because the purchase orders coming in are kind of crazy here.
Well, when I see the expense summary report that we have here for labor,
Yeah,
is this a projection of where they're going to end?
No, this is where we ended up. This was there was no payroll report that we could run, and TRIO could not run just payroll. You'd have to look at the budgets and go back and forth. And Councilor Hall wanted to see payroll. So I went in, after being told by TRIO that I could not do this, I figured out, it took me a while, how to extract everything out, and I made the report. So those are the exact amounts coming out of those budgets, although 2022 is not formally reconciled because we're still getting bills.
So these are expenses from 2022.
In 2021.
The expense warrants
And 20.
that you're looking
The
at?
expense summary report.
Yeah, there's nothing there from 2023.
No, there's nothing there.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, Yeah,
It's a current month,
Top-
5/6/2023.
top left. It says 22, 21, 20.
Yeah,
That's what I was missing.
Yeah.
I freaked out for a minute. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on. In May, we're at like
No, no.
85% of our budget. What is going on here?
No,
Hold
I
on.
extracted the,
Okay.
Council Hall wanted.
Yeah, well, I wanted the back,
21,
the
22.
backstory.
So you do have that, it is
Because-
correct.
And the reason I wanted is because I would have thought that there would be a large, like a decent amount of money in, say, I don't have it. Where is it?
Boy, public safety.
I would have thought there'd be a decent amount of money in finance, because we had Emily's, so we had the deputy tax collector position posted, and we didn't hire that position until October of 2022.
But remember, I did hire other people that I didn't want to, and we tried them out and things went wrong, seriously
But they were-
wrong. So we pretty much had somebody, we had 3 financial clerks because we could not find anybody.
Right, but you didn't always have 3 in there.
No, there-
And you didn't consistently have, and there's also the which I don't know if it was
There was a
funded in 2022, but say in 2021, Kathy Timmons, that position,
But
got
basically,
done in May, so there would have been like 7 months of,
yeah.
left in 2022.
So, do I understand that basically any of these,
no, she didn't. She left in 2021.
No, 2022.
No.
the unexpended funds at the end of the year, we transfer out what we need to cover
Yes.
our budgets.
Correct.
Whatever is left goes into surplus.
Correct.
That surplus goes into next year's budget to be a front load for that. Or does that go into,
It goes into the unappropriated surplus account, and so from that, we take money out, and that's why you started out $200,000 in the plus, because there was more money there than usual.
That's
So
what I
I put
thought.
it against the budget to
And-
help us.
so that money, Jay, is all, so basically what you're saying is everything from 2022 is flush now. There is nothing technically left.
Yeah. It
That's
goes
what
to
you're saying.
surplus.
Yep, so that's gone. That's in surplus.
So that total personnel services unexpended to 213,578
Yes.
is
but
now.
It went to surplus, but remember, some of the accounts were over, like contract services, police were way over, so there's accounts that were over on the rest of the budget.
Sure. So maybe we have 150 that went to surplus after you reconcile everything. So then that surplus will be front loaded into this year's budget if we're
Correct.
actually over our surplus number.
Yeah,
But it's nothing to spend during our 2023 calendar year. It's gone.
correct.
It's gone until we start technically budget for 2024.
But it will help next year's budget.
It will offset taxes. It'll basically be like the first payment towards our budget for income when we do next year.
But it doesn't have.
We had
it's
nothing this
It's
year.
a year behind.
It's a year lag.
Correct.
Well, so then we would have the 2021 unexpended amount for the
But it's been
2023.
applied as our first income payment to this year's budget.
It's
So it's
already
basically spent.
It's
Yeah.
already been
So
applied.
basically, each year they set yourself up to have
Right.
unexpended funds at the end of the year.
So
because
you
keep
apply-
rolling that
Yeah, it's
forward.
not on purpose.
You
Right.
applied roughly 100,000 to this year's.
Yeah, we'll have money left over.
Right.
So we had about 200,000 coming out of 2021. Should have been. Yep, about 200,000.
Right.
So this is 100. This is just off payroll. We had 100,000.
Right.
Then there's another 100 unexpended budget items that were over and above the surplus number we were keeping.
Right. Right.
So we don't have any. There's no actual money sitting there for us right now.
Right. But we have,
We have to find it out of this year.
which we basically just did, right?
Right.
I mean,
Somewhere.
A good portion of it anyway.
Yeah.
well, I would, yeah.
So how much, can you tell us year to date, do you have a good idea of where we are with code enforcement on the payroll side of that? I know you couldn't pull the report and extrapolate just that, but do you have a good idea of where that is?
We spent very little.
Very little,
We
okay.
we had 2 people that were working off and on. We've had coverage, but it's been sketchy.
What we budgeted? What, like 50? 75 for that?
Normally we did, let me pull that right.
Oh, 72.8
Once we get, yeah,
personnel services.
for everything here.
So 72.8. So let's figure we probably have 60,000 sitting there then.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The issue is, what are we gonna do about code enforcement? I've spent a lot of money and it Indeed didn't work. I called the state to see if I can get a list of code officers. I know that's kind of sketchy, but we may have to do that. It's not something I normally do, because you don't want to
Yeah.
take somebody from another town, but,
You don't want to recruit necessarily.
from another town, but
Right.
I think we're gonna have to.
I mean,
Yeah, we're stuck. A lot of, when Al Tempesta retires at the end of the year, 6 towns will not have a code officer.
Yeah.
so code enforcement. I mean, let's say we start.
State doing.
Yeah, let's say we start getting candidates now. You're 5 weeks, 4 to 5. You got 4 to 5 weeks.
Well, they're not even qualified.
I'm saying, let's say we get a qualified candidate. By the time you do your interview process, your hiring process, your onboarding process, you're 4 weeks out
Right.
from today. So the best we're going to spend out of that budget is 36. We have over 60 now. So that's $24,000 sitting there
Right.
in theoretical money.
Right. Yeah.
So we can look at that we know we've got 24 sitting there. Worst case scenario. So that covers the 10 plus.
We've got 4 budgets that we can use money
Right.
from.
Right.
But yeah, I think I still would like there to be a way that finance committee can see payroll to date.
We're working on that.
You know, we can print out every week if we want.
There has to be, there has to be a report
Right.
that will work. There has to be, there's 42 reports in there and none of them do what we want it to do.
Well, they need.
So what do you
call
have-
them up. They can probably
They're gonna have to create.
tailor make one for
They
you.
tried to make one, but it's not correct, I can see.
We really just need gross.
Can you pull it out of your timekeeping software, or is that in Trio also?
That's the payroll management system. We went into reports. Tina showed me all the different reports. We tried some. I'm sure there's a way to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I would think your payroll management is going to be the easiest way because obviously Trio, for one thing, Trio's what, a month lag at best because it takes you at least a month to reconcile the
takes me a
previous
month.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, your payroll.
Trio's useless as far as
You're obviously paying people every week, right? So,
payroll's current as of your last pay period.
right, which is
I
every.
suspect there's a
Whatever it
report
is.
they can make because they created a report that wasn't on our list that didn't work, but shows that they can create reports that are not listed in the program we have.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just trying to extrapolate the right data. You have to put the right.
Yeah, and that's fine. You can see the salary.
Because how do you how do you review what's
What I review has all the benefits in it and all
Right,
the deductions
yeah.
and everything.
seems weird to me? Like, why it would matter that you and I see? I mean, we take whatever the oath to confidentiality and all that.
We just can't show the benefits by person. You could do it in total,
Right,
and that's what
which-
we asked them to do.
But that's all we really need.
Which I don't want that. I want it. I want each position's. I don't want a lump sum because then I can't. Because this, like our budget's not lumps. It's lump sum, but it's not. Like I can break it down by person.
Yeah, that's what
and I
you're
want to do that.
I'm
You
sure
can
there's
you
a
can
way-
do it. You can do it as employee A, employee B, and maintain anonymity, right?
Right.
We
Well,
can-
I mean,
we can know that.
we see all their, as long as it's gross pay,
Right.
then it's,
It's
But,
fine.
That is
anything,
fine.
anything that she puts on paper is open to the public. So if we just do employee A, we can know what it is.
well, the public knows what it is right here. It's in our it's in our budget. You know,
Yeah,
you-
it's-
financial clerk, tax and treasurer focus.
Well, they know that's what's budgeted. We might not actually hire them at that amount.
Well,
That's you know what I'm saying? That's your
Yeah,
max.
but it's
That's
all
your max.
But that stuff is
I'm sure there's a report that
Right.
would have the salaries. I mean, we can even list the.
I just think it would be helpful.
You can list the position.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah,
I
to your
understand what
point,
you're
if you
saying.
want to put employee A, B, C, D, I don't care what it's. I just want to know
We can put the position.
this position.
Yeah.
Where I think that goes into a problem is if you have two people of similar tenure, but they were hired. I just went through this, so I know that
Right.
two people of similar ability, similar job description. One came in 6 months ahead of another, and the pay scale is slightly different at that time. And all of a sudden, you're
Yeah.
I'm sure
so
that.
if it's 1 and 2, or employee A, B, C, whatever.
Right.
Um,
But anyway,
so
she's working on that, so that's good.
Yeah, Tina's working on that. We did get a report, but it's, I can tell it's not correct on page 1 already. So that was at the end of the day when they sent it through before they went home. So I'm sure there's a report, even if it has to come from the payroll management office. What I don't want to do is have Tina or I have to create an Excel spreadsheet to do
No.
this every week.
No.
Sure.
Which you don't want either.
no,
No,
We don't need that.
no. Well, I mean, you should. Yeah, I
it
mean,
should be a very
There's
simple.
gotta be something.
And if it doesn't
Honestly-
exist, they can create it pretty
Yeah.
easily.
honestly, here's all you can put a spreadsheet together: dollar per hour, how many hours they worked each week.
Yeah, no.
it's such an easy.
I realize
we
it,
can
but-
build something.
But the payroll system can.
They should-
It's all in
Should be.
there. They just need to click the cells that we want
Yeah,
exported.
they should do it.
But anyway,
So I have another question. One thing that I do at work is, and I know again, private sector versus municipal is different, but some practices have some parallels. When I am responsible I'm responsible once a week, but let's say once a month at your department head meetings. Could you ask them for projections of where they see their spending?
We're headed there. The department head meetings, they're very talkative, can last hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's just talking about all the different projects and everything. But yes, that's where we're headed when we do their goals so that they can tell me where the money is going to be spent. Right now, we don't have cash flow issues
Right.
at all, but at some point they will. And when, later on in 2 or 3 years, you probably will. Because the debt service money will run out. So you start cutting. So we need them to know how to do this.
Yeah, projections is good, and also if you're having a hard time with time frame on that conversation, and I know this isn't our purview, this is yours, but conversation topics, and then you can have somebody in the office kind of pare that down to what you're actually going to talk about that week.
Yeah, we've done that.
Hey, I understand you want to talk about this week, but send me an email.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Does it apply to everybody or does it apply to me? If it applies to me, then it's off. It's outside the meeting. If it applies to everybody, then we can discuss it, kind of thing.
Yeah, thank you. We have worked on that.
And again, I'm not trying to step on your toes and tell you what to do. I know that your time is obviously valuable, extraordinarily valuable, and if they're taking that up,
It's nice that they're sharing. Because one department will pick up something they can work on, then they can team up on something. So it does actually work really well.
yeah, and that's what I said. If it's good for everybody, then it should be shared, right?
All right, back to this.
Yeah,
We'll get the payroll management report eventually here.
Yep.
There has to be a report.
That'd be
that does
helpful.
it.
and I guess, so this meeting was really to make sure that the hiring committee knew they had the funds, have the funds that they wanted, needed, whatever, and can move forward, which they obviously can.
So how much, I never heard how much they needed. I just said 10,000.
Yeah, no, they gave that a ballpark as well.
Normally.
I think some of them probably think it's going to be much less.
it probably will be, but if you've got somebody from California, they need to fly over here. I mean, that's extreme, but if we earmark 10,000, I think that's.
I think you'll be fine.
I think if we're flying in,
We're safe.
This is where we kind of came up with it, right? You got 3,500 or so in advertising. You know that by the time you get done with everything, you're going to be about $3,500 in advertising for we figured 30 to 45 days of ads, right?
Newspapers and all that. Yeah.
Right. And then people are going to want to fly their families with them because they're going to want to know if their family likes where they're going to move.
If they're out of state.
Right, because you're only going to probably fly in 3 or bring in 3, right?
Right.
From wherever. So, yeah, hotel fees, food, that adds up really quick
Right.
for a family.
So 10 grand's good.
I think that's a good start.
Yeah. If there's an issue, we'll discuss it. But as long as
Well, you
there's
definitely would have that.
yeah. Okay. And then I don't know if it's certainly not this meeting, but I'm not even sure if it's this committee. Healthcare, health insurance. That's like I've never discussed that on council. I don't know if you have, Pete, in the past, but I've heard there's like our health insurance is very poor for families, like a family plan.
It's actually, well, the cost is expensive, but it's
Right. That's what.
very good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's too expensive. It's so expensive they can't do it. They can't afford to even be in it, whether it's good or bad. It's so expensive that they can't.
So,
Take it as an option, but I don't, is that up to the finance committee, or does healthcare and going out and trying to find better plans or better options?
It'd be something to
Who does that fall under?
discuss at the first budget meeting to see if that's something the council wishes to pursue.
Right.
Or to offer a second option for the ones that want the family, but we did look at that for the police and it still is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Even
I
if
just
you-
know, like, I've talked to some other municipalities and their health insurance is significantly less, but I know there's a lot of variables in health insurance.
Yeah.
So,
Almost everyone.
can't really paint a broad brush, but I'd like to look into it. And we can discuss it as an entire council. It's
Almost
fine.
everyone has the MMA insurance. There's a few that don't. I didn't in my former town, and that was a nightmare going through the process. The council of the selectmen there wanted to change it every couple of years, and everybody would get all excited and everything.
All right.
But you would hire somebody like a health insurance. They have companies that have people, and then they would bring in all the companies, and everybody would meet and go over it. But with MMA, you could pick out a different option and offer that. But still, when we looked at that for the police, it was still extremely expensive, and there was a big deductible.
It's just something we should discuss as an entire council, and we don't have to do it tonight, but.
well, I'm just looking at, and I can ask that question real quick if you don't mind.
No, yeah, go ahead.
So that, like looking at the codes and building inspector, we have 14,308 set aside for health insurance. So I know personally that health insurance right now is running, negotiated plans are running around $28,000 an individual.
Okay.
So that puts your out of pocket at about $250 a week.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
right.
So
That is good.
I'm paying $90
Right,
a week for a family.
right.
So we got to be able to negotiate that some lower. Because I can see what you're saying. That's
You can pick a different option.
I mean, when you think, let's
Take a scenario. You got a single father or mother working for the town. They got 2 kids.
right.
They're paying $1,000 a month, making what, $20 an hour, paying $1,000 a month for health care.
Right.
I mean, that's that doesn't work.
So after insurance, that leaves you with a $28,000 take home at the end of the year.
Maybe,
That's tough.
yeah.
That's pre-tax.
If you're lucky,
That's
it's
pre-tax.
right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And there's some.
I'm obviously not HR or anything like that, but
No. Good
But
point.
I know in some other scenarios, companies team up so that, and I don't know if you can do it in municipalities, but they basically act as one company when it comes to negotiating a health insurance, and it gives them lower rates because there's obviously way more people. So do we team up as Somerset County? and all the municipalities in Somerset County go in and try to get a low insurance because they got, you know, X amount of people that will, I don't even know if that's an option for the municipality, but in other scenarios,
We can look into it.
I think it needs to be looked in at, because when you're talking about trying to hire people and not fulfilling positions, benefits sometimes in a lot of cases will outweigh, you know, your dollar per hour or your salary. Then we'll look at the benefits that are, like Ron said, if you take it home, you take home after you have to pay all your health insurance and everything is, you know,
So as I
20 grand a year.
So as I noted, you can pick a different option at MMA for the people that have families and offer them. You can have two options.
Yeah.
The others that have all the issues that are grandfathered in, which is getting to be less and less every
Right.
year. And then you could do a family plan that was a lot less expensive. It's still expensive though, but
Yeah.
a lot less expensive.
Anyway, yeah, it just needs to be looked into, I think. But we can do it as a council.
So, one thing, are we done with are we pretty much at the end of your agenda?
I just had one more thing, but
Go ahead.
it was just purchase orders.
Yep.
That whole process, it sounds like it needs to be revamped and redone, and I don't know enough about it, but I'm just throwing out that idea that we should discuss it at some point, not tonight, but
The only
just whatever that process is and how we can improve it. I know maybe you're pigeonholed by the charter and the legalities of
we are.
whatever,
The only
but
issue we're having is that some departments went and spent where they shouldn't have and didn't get POs, which then created a mess. And everybody got, the two that were involved, got quite a talking to.
right. But I mean, this isn't this year or a specific person. It's just sounds like since I've been on council, it's been painful. Period. It's just
No, it works quite well. You just need-
not if you need a quick turnaround or you need to run to Walmart to pick up something. Or,
All right, so we've been through this before. That's why we have the credit card if there's an emergency. I got the 2 credit cards to the maximum I could after 4 months of.
Right, but like each department head doesn't have that, and I think they should.
That's back to the charter problem, because I'm stuck doing it, which is why we didn't do it before, because I'd be running around purchasing stuff everywhere, and I can't do that.
So that's part. Okay.
So-
That's the charter thing.
So let's amend the charter.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
what's the PO, what's the problem with the PO process? I guess I don't fully have my head wrapped around that.
everything just takes forever to get turned around.
So does the system have to generate a PO?
Actually, you could in the, I hate to
think so.
do more in Trio, but you can create purchase orders in Trio. We just have an Excel spreadsheet. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I mean I don't know.
So it's like 20.
I don't know the process. I just know people want something turned around quick, and it doesn't
Well,
get turned around.
if they
quick.
come over and they want it that minute, if Tina's busy at the counter with a customer, they can't get it. It's the
Well,
problem.
I understand that, but
But if they want to go just buy, go buy something quickly, if it's an emergency, they can do it. They just have to come back and, tell me they're going. The fire chief's done that before.
Right.
The police chief's done that before.
I
They actually need
yeah,
something. Definitely Donnie's had to do that.
right.
And then we, then
I just think it's an antiquated system that needs to be.
Well, it does keep everybody on task except for those that violated it. But I don't think that one just made a mistake from the misinformation he received, and the other one just did what they wanted and
Right.
understand they won't do that again.
All right. Well, that's all I had for this.
The only thing I have is looking at, just because we kind of pulled this topic up a few times. And, so, obviously, in 2023, we budgeted under finance department. We budgeted 1, 2, 3 financial clerks.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, and we have 3.
All right, so in 2022,
You had 2 financial clerks and a deputy tax collector treasurer.
okay, so is there one of these financial clerks that you are considering moving towards that deputy tax collector treasurer?
I have tried, but we're nowhere close, but perhaps by the end of the year we will be. And a lot of that is I used to give them everything. The financial clerks would get everything to do, and then they would take off because it was so much. So this time, this time we focused on getting the counter correct, being able to do everything at the counter.
Yeah.
And now we're going into the other work.
Good, good. So, and then in 22, there was the admin assistant. What do we have in 23?
Which is put down as admin or the grant person.
Okay.
So I had to do that after the mayor said
Yeah.
that was really good move.
Yeah, we had to.
So we just changed the name and appropriated basically the same amount of money. Okay.
For the period of time that we needed it, yeah.
Now, in your opinion, what positions, so that we are not hamstringing the incoming town manager, even if we talk about January 1st, 2024, right?
Right.
What positions do we need to set them up for success? What areas would you have needed the most help?
I wrote that down in that memo. We definitely need somebody, a bookkeeper, somebody to do the books, which the deputy treasurer, tax collector doesn't do. But I can give you a list and then we can work on that for 2024.
And start budgeting those numbers, because we can take the numbers and add what we anticipate will be, if any, increase this year. The
So
increase.
if we were to hire an HR, specifically HR representative, right? Then would Tina then be the potential bookkeeper
No,
or that position?
she would want the HR position.
Well, you don't just get a position because you want it. But
So, all right. So,
Well, she's been covering some of it.
so we know
right, but okay.
we need HR, a minimum of 2 finance clerks, right?
Yeah, deputy tax collector,
Yep.
Treasurer. And
which is the
bookkeeper.
same thing.
You had all these way back.
Yep. Deputy tax.
The HR was actually the assistant town manager.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to ask. What additional functions, just for justification purposes, because HR is not a 40-hour-a-week job in a small
Okay.
municipality like this.
All right, yeah.
Well, it shouldn't.
You know what I mean? So can it be HR / what's that called?
Right, but
Like an admin assistant, which is what we tried before, but the person can't do it. We
Look.
tried to.
I mean, the problem, the way I see, we've hired, say, a financial clerk, and we told that person, you're going to be HR. Well, if you didn't hire them for HR and they don't have HR experience, that's kind of a tall task, you know?
Right.
HR, you can't just throw to anybody. Like, there are quite a few laws and things that.
So that we're clear, somebody had to do payroll. And maybe you
Right.
have a financial clerk / payroll, which takes up extensive amount of.
See,
Right, that's what we're trying to.
I would lean more to HR payroll.
Yeah. Right, because you want your HR.
All protected information.
Right. Good point.
So I would.
Which is actually a person I know used. That was her position.
Right.
Not in this, in a separate
Understood.
thing. It was HR and it was payroll,
Payroll.
and that's what her function was. So that makes sense. So, and we're trying to figure out what we need to
so we can budget, start
For
getting
next-
conversations going for
Get
budget.
these positions lined up for next year and what it's gonna do to our budget.
Yeah, just let me get to, you'll have more surplus money available, so that will help you. Just let me get to the end of the month so I can get
Right.
everything done.
Yeah, this is just, we're not asking for, you know,
I
right
can
this
do,
minute,
I
but,
can do the budgets for them after checking with other towns.
Yeah, these are just conversation starters, right? So we can start looking at, this isn't something I'm asking for information next week. It's,
no, yeah, I mean, me neither.
Oh.
It's a good,
but if we start to lock down what those positions will look like, then we can start to put the financial pieces behind it.
right.
And then, you know,
Because you put in your previous town manager report,
I put information in there.
well, you put that you were gonna kind of put you were gonna not hire an assistant to the town manager. Is that correct? You said you were going to put a stop to that, or kind of pump the brakes on
use
that?
it, if you decided you wanted to get the new town manager pronto here, so you gotta have some money.
Right.
For the grant purpose.
And we haven't hired that position anyway. You know, you haven't had luck
I
hiring
didn't
it.
have good luck, no.
Right. And at this point, probably makes more sense for the new town manager to hire
Yeah, I didn't dare do it.
their assistant, right? At this point in the game.
well, we don't even have the assistant listed because it moved to grant.
Right, it'll be for grant.
Right. But
So we just
oh,
changed the title, so we don't even have one budgeted this year.
Right, but weren't we advertising for it?
I
Or did you
thought-
pull that?
I did eventually pull it.
Okay,
Because
okay.
nothing happened at the beginning of the year, I
Yeah,
started
yeah. No,
advertising,
that's
I told you all I would do that.
Because to Ron's point, we had the virtual assistant.
Yeah,
We didn't have anything else.
I still think that's a
do you
untapped resource. That is just
Yeah.
unreal. But
Well, at this point, we gotta save some money here.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
not for this year. I'm looking
I
at
would like to
future.
have done it, I thought it
Absolutely.
was interesting.
Right. Okay. So that's not advertised. That's good.
All right, so you have your advertising money, and as I said, if I get the ads, I can place them every place. I can use the credit card for Indeed or others that you have.
Yeah.
After I pay off the bill that just came in for the library director and the code officer, and then send them wherever you want.
All right.
So
is
that's
there any?
7 positions that I just kind of counted.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to end up. You'll get your priority list once we get going here. We can't get them all.
I mean, I think at some point we're gonna have to, right? You gotta build your base.
Well, you used to have all this, but everything kept getting cut, which wasn't good.
No, it's not. I feel like we did you I mean, I'll be honest with you. I feel like the town council has done you a disservice by not funding these positions because I can't function when I'm missing 1 or 2 people from my office.
Right.
If I was missing my 2 most important, as far as financially driven pieces to that puzzle, how the heck do you, HR takes up 20% of my day.
Oh, okay.
Financial takes up 20 to 30% of my day.
Right.
I get it. So I'm looking at TM, HR, payroll, if we do that, finance, deputy tax collector, treasurer, assistant to the TM, grant admin. And there was one other position too. There was,
Well, this is the town clerk.
Well, the town clerk's just out on leave.
No, I mean.
right, but that's a position that has to be funded.
Well, yeah, but that's yes.
And then isn't there something for, oh no, okay. So it's actually 8 positions total in town admin.
I've been doing the water sewer bills too to get them out in the end. I'm not happy about that, but I think I've figured out a few things from being in depth. So more things for Trio here.
So water, sewer, but that
Well,
can be
that's
broken up into somebody's
that's a finance clerk.
finance
Yeah,
clerk's
we'll get
job
these
duty.
all.
That is one of those.
Yep, so you have eight positions.
I just have to run around between everything and keep on the deadlines. I'm just cramped up right now. And people coming in just demand items now. It's just so different.
Yeah.
The world is different, and I feel bad for the ladies at the counter. It's ridiculous.
Well, we get news as it's happening. We get
Yeah.
right. we can bank as it's happening. We come in and
Everything
we
is
expect
set up.
things to happen.
Yeah, I remember the days when we got the fax machine, and then you'd have to, instead of getting your letter and having to wait a few days before it got delivered, then the fax machine put things through. Then things started speeding up, and then
Right.
you got computers, and it started speeding up even more. And now it's like, everything.
Yep.
All right. Last quick question I had was: is Donnie all set with the funds he needs for
All right, so we've been over
the
this.
truck?
Yeah, so depending on what he wants to do, remember the RFP went out and was approved by the town council at the last meeting. The proposals will be in, you can't get them too soon because the banks won't give you anything over a couple of weeks. So on 6/23, we're supposed to have the money. The bids are going to be due at the end of May, so you can approve them at the first meeting in June, and then the attorney needs 2 weeks with the bank to get everything in order. So he'll have all of his money available on 6/23.
That's the 2023 money.
2022 money.
Yeah, and 2022 was
2023
never,
money. Where's the 2022 money?
it was never borrowed. None
Well-
of those items were borrowed.
But that's what we talked about.
I'm right back to being confused again.
No, leave it alone.
The last meeting we approved, we went to public hearing and we approved the 2023 money. 2023 money.
Yes.
Right.
But we said that we were going to use the 2022 money because it was already in the.
Right.
Well,
And
I
that's-
wanted to, but you all didn't want to get 2 trucks.
No, we did. We said we were going to. We
Well,
said,
you said you were, and then you said you weren't.
Heather sat right here and she said that we approve the 2022 because that will give Donnie the money as fast as possible to move forward. And we approve the 2023 stuff so that if Stan Kitchen was to not be doing plowing, we then would have the option in August or September to buy a second truck, and then that would get us through the plowing season.
That's what I thought I remembered.
So the 2022 money we needed to act on so Donnie could go buy something now.
Right.
Well, I
And then
wanted-
we were and the reason we were doing that because we didn't want to wait this whole 6-week, 2-month process for the public hearing and the 2 weeks and the this and that and everything else so we have those 2 avenues that we were going down. So the
Alright.
2022 money should have been
So that's borrowed.
borrowed.
Still would have to, it would be the same time frame as what we're
Is
doing.
it?
Well, that's not. Well, that's
It is
not.
still.
It won't
Okay.
help
alright.
you any.
That wasn't what was told to us.
I tried to get the 2022 money to go forward, but you all wanted to leave it. So we did the 2023, but it isn't going to matter if it's 2022 or 2023 because it still needs the RFP to move forward.
Right, but the 2022 money had already gone to public hearing, so we didn't have to go through all that. All we had to do was say, "Yeah, go borrow it." Go out to RFP. We would have been a month ahead of time.
We just did the RFP. It's out to our
I realize that, but it's now a month later. This was on 4/18. We're 3 weeks. That's why we were doing both. We were doing both at the same time, and that's what I got confused about. Because
Yeah, it
now
was-
we're not doing both.
It was all
No, I
intermixed.
think you were clear we weren't doing both.
I was very adamant until I understood from Heather
Right.
what the idea was, that we
Right.
were just saying we weren't agreeing to spending it, we were agreeing to put it to public hearing.
Right.
Should we need it later on in the year, should stand
Yeah,
it. We were just saying.
which it did. Yeah.
Right.
So if you need
Now
the,
we've only acted
you-
on one of those.
if you need the second truck, or you want the little truck on the $60,000 one, I can do another RFP for this meeting.
I don't think that we should do anything till Donnie gets one. Let's let him get one and then we can look at the rest of it.
If he needed 35,000, let's see, from the truck he's talking about, We could probably transfer some things around and then pay it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to at least get it held for us, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yep.
or we could do a down payment.
Some earnest money down.
Down payment would
Yeah.
hold it,
Right.
depending on if it's a local contractor. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think that's an issue.
All right.
And then the good news is that Stanley will do the plowing and sanding for another year.
I did see that.
That is good news, but we need to,
Now we get an
we have
opportunity.
to plan
That's right.
Correct.
for next year that you could not be doing it.
Yeah, we get
Yeah.
the true opportunity to plan, which is good.
Yes, this is good. He's
Right.
always been very
But it doesn't-
reasonable.
yeah.
I thought he would do another year, and then we say that's it. We won't have to do it again.
I can tell you where we can save a ton of money. Sidewalk cleaner. I'm going to tell you something.
Man, all it does is break down.
Well, that's because they plow the sidewalks. Literally, they're peeling up sections of asphalt with that thing. Take a trip down Madawaska Avenue at some point and look at the ends of driveways. There are chunks of asphalt that are missing and blown into people's front yards
Yep.
because it's. I mean, I was just talking to a resident of Madawaska down further into town the other day, and he was showing me a pothole that's the size of my desk in the sidewalk.
So they're digging down into it.
They come down onto it, and that digs straight into the asphalt. And I'm telling you, I think that thing gets started sometime mid-December, and they finally turn it off in like the first week of April. I'm pretty sure it runs like non-stop down.
It
the,
does run a lot. That's
just like the loader. I drive by there at night, and the loader's just sitting there. Why?
Well,
We haven't had snow in 4 days. Why is the thing running?
Nothing
sure it's warm.
Well, that was like the police cars would be on all summer, and we had to stop that. So thank you for telling me. I'll talk to him. Donnie may not even know that.
I don't think he does, and I haven't had a chance to say anything to Donnie about it, but I did notice it, just to ask a question, but
You only want the loader on when you get your storms going.
yeah, pretty much.
No.
But yeah, what they were finding was they would send the sidewalk cleaner ahead of the plow. So the guy cleans the sidewalk, and 45 minutes later, plow comes over and covers the sidewalk. So the sidewalk cleaner has to come right back through it
Right.
and do it. It's like, okay, hold on a minute. If you guys can time that up a little
We had
bit.
the same problem a few years ago with the sanding of the road
Yeah.
and then plowing up the sand.
It goes to friends.
Order of operation sometimes.
It goes
But
to
it's-
friends
it's-
where we got that straightened out.
Yeah,
and came back
it's
again.
good now, but,
All right, it should be pretty sensible when the sidewalk plow goes out.
Yeah, I would think that's why you're getting some damage, because it's just, I mean, they're grinding that thing right down into the asphalt. It's crazy.
yeah.
So, okay.
All right,
All
was
right,
there,
thank you.
Pete, did you have anything?
I'll double check on that.
All set?
Thank you.
Ron, you're all set?
I'm all set.
And Catherine, you're all set?
Catherine's going upset
Need it,
upstairs to work on.
Don't need anything from us?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Alrighty, well, meeting adjourned.
We need to sign these,
Yeah.
Yep, sewer
Commitments.
water. Yeah, I didn't have time to do the bills because it takes so long.
Thank you for your follow-up on the airport deal.
Yeah, that was
Oh, you're welcome.
That is a,
They know what,
Thorn in my
they
paw.
know what they're doing. It's very aggravating. When it first came out, I didn't know how to actually get into a fight. Thank you for coming, Pete. Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what the hell, if it was right or wrong or indifferent.
9?
Yep.